Hi, friends. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here or if you are just now joining me for the first time, welcome. My name is Sharice. I am a multi passionate fashionista and a hot foot auntie, and I am in a season of rewiring survival to safety. We're doing something new on the channel. I came up with the concept for a series, and I titled it Soft Money, Strong Boundaries. And this is episode one of the series. So I just wanted to come in and do a quick sit down and just talk for a bit about what prompted this concept. To put a very long story short, your girl has been through it, and as far as romantic relationships and recent experiences have prompted me to try to get to the root of why certain cycles were being repeated in my interactions with men and subsequently my relationships with men romantically. It's not to say that I'm taking all the blame or being extremely hard on myself for the way things turned out. It takes two hands to clap. We all know that. But I'm a person that really is into personal development. I'm a very deep thinker. I'm a very reflective thinker. And I just thought, well, hey, what's the common theme through all of these experiences that you've had over the last few years? And it came down to my emotional wellness. It's about having more of a balance for me. I am a very emotional person, and I realized that it can be to a fault at times, especially when it comes to two things in my life that I reflected and realized: my money and my romantic relationships. So, in doing all of that, and of course, doing work with my therapist, um, I was able to hone in on what might be the gap in me being able to have more successful outcomes in my romantic relationships and my finances. Now, this is not to say that I'm bad with money. I've been living on my own for a very long time and I've gotten myself this far. So it's not to say that I'm bad with money at all, but there's always room for improvement. Yeah. So I have decided, after putting myself out there and hoping that each experience was going to be different and it would last longer than the previous one, I have decided not to give up on love or desiring partnership or romantic relationship with anybody, but to shift some of my focus from that at this moment in my life to working on my emotional wellness. And a great way for me to do that, the best place for me to start for me is with my finances. Because as I alluded to earlier, I realized some common themes in both my finances and my relationships as far as how I would feel regarding both of them at different points in time, at different happenings, at different developments. And I realized those commonalities. So we are here. We are here at Soft Money, Strong Boundaries. So your girl is here, and I'm inviting you along on this deeply personal journey. My life is eh, not fully an open book, but I like to share these things because it's part of the human experience. It's not something that we were given a guidebook to about adulthood. And I know there's quite a few people out there who will be able to relate. So, in talking and sharing, that's how we learn. So, I have decided I'm going to invite you all along on this journey with me as it unfolds. I am a few weeks in, but I've compiled some of the moments and the thoughts and the revelations along the way, and those are going to be the series that I'm going to be sharing with you. So, without any more yapping, let's get into episode one of Soft Money, strong boundaries. So I've shifted my focus from pursuing romantic love and connection at this time to cultivating my own security and peace through my finances. And in the first week, a lot happened. In this video, I'm talking about what happened in just the first week of this shift and how it's already changing the way I move through life. For a long time, I realized I was pouring energy into romantic relationships that weren't pouring back into me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what was the reason. In those connections, I'd rearrange my plans, neglect my goals, even spend money I didn't really have, all trying to maintain what wasn't being built to last. And then one day, with a broken heart and a near broken bank account, I thought, if I can invest this much in potential relationships, girl, what would happen if I invested that same effort into myself? And that's when I decided to stop chasing connections that ultimately cost me my peace and start building a foundation that could actually sustain me. And just to be clear, I'm not saying you can't focus on both love and money. You can absolutely nurture your relationships and your goals at the same time. What I'm exploring through this series is the direct correlation between the two. How self-respect, discipline, boundaries, self-worth, and even emotional spending are connected. So I started to reflect on the patterns that paralleled over the years between my finances and relationships on a deeper level that would leave me with the same feelings. And I realized the same energy that made me chase validation in those connections was the same energy that resulted in the relationship I had with my finances. I think we can agree that both our finances and relationships are reflections of how we value ourselves and how safe we feel in our own lives. This isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about me learning to show up for myself in both. So the first thing I did was face my numbers. I opened every account, tallied all my debts, even the ones I was avoiding. It was humbling, but it was freeing. Then I moved on to build a budget that made sense for my real life, not a fantasy version of it. I made my first rule. Every dollar I spend should align with the version of me I'm becoming, not the version I've outgrown. I set a goal to save for my emergency fund. This is not just about the money. It's about having my own back. Something amazing happened in this first week. My anxiety went down. My mind got quieter. I realized that every time I say no to unnecessary spending, I'm also saying no to emotional chaos. I used to think that love meant sacrifice, but now I'm learning that security is love. My finances are teaching me to enforce boundaries, not just to have them, but to enforce them. And it's showing me how to honor myself first. Because if I can manage my money with care, I can manage my heart with clarity. And maybe that's the real glow up. Peace that's paid in full. This is only week 1 of this journey, and I don't have everything figured out, but I'm present, I'm accountable, and I'm growing. If you're tired of giving away everything and ready to rebuild from the inside out, I encourage you to subscribe and meet me back here next week for episode 2. And comment below what would change in your life if you focus fully on your goals for 30 days. Remember, this isn't about rejecting love, it's about realignment. When you start respecting your peace and your money, love starts meeting you where you are. Because both are mirrors. And once you learn to manage one with care, you start healing the other.